Hello everyone and welcome back to Diablo 3, my hardcore challenge. So last time I kind of talked about what happens to a low mass star as it dies, and now I'll move on to... Okay, fine. La 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 la.
Keep your distance.
So that's how Loch Danann kills the Skeleton King, or the Auric anyway. He wasn't Skeleton King yet.
Even in death, the armies of Condorus will still obey their king, even if you will not.
Okay. Yeah, so the next would be medium-sized stars.
We have just arrived.
Not super heavy, but reasonably heavy. Between 0.5 and 10 solar masses, which is half as light to 10 times as heavy as our sun. Half as heavy, actually. And these stars eventually become red giants, and that means that their core is inert, so there's no longer any fusion going on. But they still fuse hydrogen in outer shells around the core. So the very core doesn't have any hydrogen anymore to fuse, but the shells around it still do. And this basically causes the star to expand, become much, much larger. And oh hey, bits of dialogue now. Well, we can skip it actually. Yeah, this is a stage at which we have to destroy these activated pillars. And the hammers are very, very nice. They kind of spiral outwards. And I don't know what my Templar is doing there, but it doesn't seem very useful. Okay. So, yeah, this is, by the way, the fate that our sun will eventually face. A red giant expands because of the fusion in the outer shells. It becomes very huge, and instead of burning bright white to yellow, it'll become less luminous, but well, the energy radiated is less energetic. The light is less energetic, but because its surface increases so much, the overall luminosity of the star actually increases. Yeah, they are reasonably cold, but very large, so that makes them actually give out a lot of energy. Now the sun, as our sun goes through that stage, it'll expand so far that it'll swallow the Earth. Two-handed, right? Yeah. Not interested in pole arms, I'm afraid. I really do like having a shield. And because we're about to go face the Skeleton King. I'm putting on my nice little passive skill. Pretty sure it's not going to be back here. Okay, and yeah, so red giant fusing hydrogen in its outer shells, and this hydrogen fusion produces helium, which falls into the core, which heats up the core, which means eventually the core might become hot enough to start fusing helium. And after that, the same process that started with hydrogen might go on with helium, so the core might no longer have enough to fuse, but it might still fuse helium in shells around the core. But this process, obviously, because there's a limit as to how much can be fused, it'll eventually end. At which point the outer layers of the star are essentially shed and blasted out into a planetary nebula, and the inner core of the star becomes a white dwarf. And again, I'll talk about those stellar remnants a little later. So we now going up against the against the first boss. And now about the very massive stars. These are, because they are much more massive and thus much hotter, they are capable of fusing hydrogen, helium much sooner. Okay, let's put this crown on. So yeah, these stars are unlikely to ever make it to the red giant phase because they produce too much heat to become red giants. Or in a binary system, which is basically two stars circling each other, the outer layers might be shredded away. But because such massive stars, well, they are too heavy, so the electron degeneracy pressure that I was talking about, with the electrons not being able to be packed any more tightly, that just isn't enough. The stars are so heavy that they can collapse further even though this pressure is in place. Okay, I still haven't gotten all the fight achievements for the Skeleton King fight, by the way. And I know there's an achievement for doing this whole fight without taking damage, but definitely not going to try going for that on this character. It's probably easiest to do that on normal difficulty with a level 70 character, just because that would make the fight a bit of a joke. Or whatever the lowest difficulty to get that achievement on is, anyway. Okay, we've got him about a quarter of his health, quarter of his life down. It's nice. Oh, I thought the horse could go through him, but it didn't look like it could. But yeah, as the electron degeneracy pressure isn't enough to counteract the collapse, the core will collapse further and further, becoming hotter and hotter, and thus allowing the fusion of heavier and heavier elements. Which in lighter stars there would never be enough heat and energy present to start fusing even heavier elements, but in those really massive stars there is enough. And I appear to be a little trapped here, so I'll hammer my way out. Should really pay more attention and not look at my notes so much. So yeah, as if this happens, which happens in stars about 40 times as massive as our sun, the increased pressure or the increased outward force caused by this heavier fusion might essentially make the star turn into a white dwarf as well, essentially. But the white dwarf will be composed of heavier elements than if the star had been lighter, simply because fusion went further and so heavier elements have been formed. And these stars, these really massive stars, are the source of lots of the heavy elements in our universe, which are the results of fusion. And he's now below half. That's nice. It's good that I currently have an AoE skill that's so effective. Makes dealing single target damage against the Skeleton King itself a little less efficient, but works wonders against the minions he summons. Whoa. Okay, so these really heavy stars, they will at some point in their life undergo something called a supernova, which it's a very, very big explosion. So fusion, if you had this at school, you might know, but fusion produces energy. So you have to invest a lot of energy to get, for example, two hydrogen atoms to fuse, or two hydrogen cores. But you get more energy out of it, up to a point. Once you've reached iron 56, which is the most stable isotope of iron, I guess, fusing these two into further, even heavier elements doesn't produce energy anymore, it consumes energy. So, obviously once a star has reached the point where it is hot enough to do that kind of fusion, this fusion no longer causes pressure. So this fusion doesn't help counteract gravitational collapse, because it actually consumes energy instead of producing it. And at this stage in a star's life, which only happens in the very massive stars, as I've said, its core just collapses further in a process turning it into a neutron star, or maybe even a black hole. But because of all this gravitational potential energy that is released as the star collapses, it basically causes all the outer layers of the star to explode in a huge blast of energy and heat, which for a fairly brief amount of time, this supernova produces more light than entire galaxies. So really, really bright event, blasting off matter at relativistic speeds. 10% of the speed of light would be an estimate of how fast the outer layers get blasted into space. Which is also a process by which even heavier elements than iron 56 are thought to be formed in the universe. Because huge amounts of energy are just there, which obviously could cause fusion. And I'm almost done with this battle now, which is nice. And I completely forgot repeatedly using my increased attack speed skill here. But hey, he's dead. So who cares? And hey, I even get a legendary helm. Nice. Print screen as I always do. And this is the crown of the Skeleton King, if I see this correctly. Yes, it is. Strength, vitality. Well, it's pretty much a no-brainer. And let's go on. Broken crown of the Skeleton King, actually. And but yeah.
At last.
These supernovas are fairly rare. It's estimated that they happen, I think, about once a century in our solar system. But there are a lot of galaxies, so I think Lawrence Krauss said that the universe is very old and very big, and rare things happen all the time. And that's pretty true. Now, we've pretty much gone through... Yep, blah-de-blah. Gone through the life of a star.
Okay. Nothing stops the crucible. All goatmen.
Okay, we have Justice now. Hurl a hammer of justice at your enemies, dealing 245% weapon damage. Okay. Shield Bash has a new rune, 1-on-1. The targeted monster is stunned. All other monsters hit are knocked back. Why say monsters? Why not say enemy? Provoke has a new rune, Cleanse. For each enemy successfully taunted, you gain life on hit for 5 seconds. That's not bad. So, of course, as the star... I'll go charge, because I quite like the skill. And And oh, nice boots. Nice ring. I do lose some toughness, but the increased damage and healing are worth it, I think. Still only one-handed stuff. These shields can both go away. Okay, I can salvage the rest, I think. For some reason I don't have the salvage all buttons yet, which I don't know when they unlock, but eventually you basically get buttons which allow you to salvage salvage all white, blue and yellow items respectively. So obviously remnants are left behind when these stars explode or stop being on the main sequence, stop doing their...
Sure, I may do business with some unsavory types, but I pass the savings on to you.
Okay, let's see what this sword actually does. Life on kill, dexterity, holy damage, not bad. It was an all-round improvement, so that's good. Oh. Oh, this is a single target skill. Ooh. Not very happy with this at all. Oh well. I have to use it.
Burn in the light.
Well, it's good that it has a fairly long range on it. That makes it a little more viable, but I don't know, personally I prefer AoE skills. Just seems more useful. Especially since my right-click skill currently has a short range. I don't know. Especially without AoE, as you just saw. That retching cadaver, which essentially vomits up new zombies, it can protect itself quite well sometimes by just vomiting up zombies, which stand in the way of my attack, which has no AoE. Oh dear. Of course my Templar goes right in. Oh, and we have a boss as well. Mange, whatever. Oh, this isn't good. This isn't good at all. No. Okay, these grotesques are merely electrified. I guess that's could have been a lot worse. But they can also do that stun knockback thing they do.
Not enough wrath.
And oh wow, of course there's tons of zombies behind me now. Ouch.
My wrath is low.
Okay, I think I can do this, but it'll take a while, kiting around and slowly dealing some damage. Okay, these grotesques are close to death though, so that's nice. At least some of them are.
I hear something stirring in the distance.
Oh, and I'd actually lost the other guy, darn. Okay, that grotesque is almost dead now. Darn, couldn't you have exploded closer to that silly little... whatever they're called. Mange guy. Okay, fine. There we go. Problem solved. Screw this. Okay, nope. So yeah, Stellar Remnants. What's left over after the star has gone through its, or at least the majority of its life. So for the lighter stars, as I've said before, those would usually be white dwarfs, and the white dwarf is just the outer layers of the star are shattered, so the center is a it's a very stable bit of matter, I guess. No, frozen, not good. Okay. Really looking forward to my next level up, because this Hammer of Justice thing is really not very good. Well, I don't like it. Maybe with another rune it'll become more useful, but at this point it just feels really underwhelming. Get out of there! Of course he doesn't. Sometimes I wish the AI was a little smarter on my companions. Might be a little unbalanced, of course, but still. Would be nice, would be nice. So yeah. Oh darn. In a white dwarf, the electron degeneracy pressure is enough to counter further collapse. So they are very stable, and they very slowly burn out their remaining energy. The only circumstances under which they might become unstable is if they somehow gained more mass again, which might happen if they are in a binary system. Then they might, as their partner star expands or sheds its outer layer, they might absorb that outer layer and gain more mass, which might cause them to rapidly regain mass and cause them to reinitialize fusion. Oh dear, did I lose the guy? No, I didn't. Still there. As you know, greed cometh before the fall, and wow, I have no way to actually AoE the guy, which is really annoying. I will kill you. Or not. See the problem with the Hammer of Justice?
Not yet.
No!
Not enough wrath.
No! I'm lost. I'm losing him. Losing him. But it has to happen. Yes, I got him. Okay. Now I'm a little... well, not really in trouble, but there's a lot of enemies, let's put it that way. Okay, I want to get the grotesque guys first, because they blow up, dealing damage to everything else. And not having an AoE is annoying. Hate it when my standard attack doesn't do AoE. Maybe I'll have some peace and quiet now to actually, you know, cut. That would be lovely. And I actually think I'll cut the episode here. I'll restart this area next time. I haven't done much, but at least we've done some exploring. I found Hatrix Assistant, that's nice, or Apprentice. So it should be noted that as the White Dwarf slowly radiates away its remaining heat, it is thought to eventually turn into a Black Dwarf, which is basically just a colder version of a White Dwarf. But again, the universe just isn't old enough for any of those to exist yet. So we can't experimentally confirm whether they exist. We won't be able to observe them for a long time. And yeah, next time I'll start talking about neutron stars. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye!